All right, everybody, let's do this. This is the live stream titled The Doctor's Orders. We are on episode 75. Pretty cool, creeping up on triple dig here in a bit. And this is on the Dr. Nick's Amazing Man Stuff YouTube channel. And my name is Dancy Bearded. I'm the co-host. And this is a show where we just open up to the community. We talk about what you guys want to talk about. We talk about what's going on with this company, get to know the people, get to know what's coming up, get to know why the company was founded, and just some random stuff that anytime we want to talk about, you'll see there's a lot of tangents and fun things. So if that sounds good to you now, live and in the moment, hit that thumbs up. If it sounds good to you in the future on replay, hit that thumbs up as well. We do love the replay views. If you guys want to leave comments, Dr. Nix gets back and responds to every single comment on this channel. That is always appreciated. So thank you guys. And now, of course, we got to introduce the man, the myth, the actual legend. He is more elusive than the Nightwalkers in Hawaii. He is more elusive than seeing two hawks on one branch in Michigan. He is more elusive than finding the perfect movie that both spouses want to watch at the same time, as well as agreeing on dinner. Please let me welcome my co-host, my friend, my, dare I say, soul counterpart. I don't know soulmate. That was a little bit too far. Soul counterpart, the Mr. Dr. Nick himself.
Pause. Okay. Make me feel like an enigma coming in here. I need to come in like a unicorn.
Yeah,
you know?
right. What do you do to that? How do you?
I don't even know.
Do a trick. Dance for us.
People are going to start collecting my tears in little jars for good luck out there. You know, it's like all of a sudden, man, who knows what's going to happen?
New scent.
Putting that out there.
Yeah.
Wonder what is up. My co-host
regulate how would IFRA go about the regulations on Nick tears?
You know, I don't know. There could be, I'm sure there would be something to do with soluble. Well, part per million probably would be an important metric,
That's fair.
Of actual tears to the watered down, substrate.
Yeah.
There's only so much magic in the tears.
I need to try that sometime. Tears.
I have a gypsy tear jar. I don't really know what it says. It has a line. It says fill to here.
Yeah.
But that's only if you do something really, really wrong and you want to avoid the gypsy's curse.
Oh,
these are important things to know on your travels as a doctor of time and space. You need to have a gypsy tear jar. You gotta be able to do the things that set you up for success later.
Yep. Nope, that's true.
Just like everything else in life, it's really important.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I watched Borat, so I can confirm from science that sounds accurate.
Done.
Mm-hmm.
That checks out.
Absolutely. Oh man, that's so cool. Look at Shane's beard.
Peer reviewed at this point.
He said, it took me a few weeks, but I watched all previous streams. About the first 50 I missed.
Wow.
That's really cool.
Shane, that is amazing, dude. And as someone who has recently watched early on streams, I wonder if there's anything that we talked about doing later on the streams or said, we're going to do this. And then we forgot about it. I almost want someone that's seen the early on streams recently to keep us honest here. Are we, is there anything we forgot to do? Is there something that we said we were going to cover that we haven't covered yet? That would always be a great topic. Out of the time capsule.
If you guys ever have any ideas too, we welcome those. Or if you have things like Nick said that we're like, oh, we got to do that. And it just life caught us, send us a message on Instagram or send an email. And we'd love to hear those topics. And we really do want to cover what you guys want to talk about. And today is actually all about that. It is a community check-in. And I'm super excited just to talk about what you guys want to. We got a couple of little things, but then the agenda is going to be really up to you guys. And Nick doesn't even know this yet, but next week we got a really special show and there will be a guest in the house. So yeah. I have it on my list to tell you, but we got to talk and us gals.
Oh, well, now I'm excited.
Yeah. So yeah, next week, guys, it'll be a different kind of stream. We've had guests many times before, but we do have a new guest confirmed for next week, and you guys will love this stream and this person, and it's going to be a good time. I'll give you one little clue, Nick, and maybe people in the chat will pick it up on something I've said recently, and that would be he goes by the phrase professionally bearded.
Yep.
Think that'll be good?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. That's going to be fun. That'll be fun. So he's
Love
in. He's
that.
confirmed, and so yeah, we got a nice little interview stream next week with some.
Oh man. And I just have some great things to tell that person when we do get to talk to him. Holy crap.
Yes.
I'm actually, there's something happening tonight specifically surrounding this person and the things he does.
And is today, might say, Taco Tuesday?
You know, today is Taco Tuesday, Dan. You know, and that has, you know, it's spurred up all sorts of inspiration happening in the kitchen later today at the Phelps house.
See, how do we? I know, man. I know you, Nick. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. You know what's happening.
I can confirm it is not Joe Rogan next week, but he does have an open invite anytime he would like to.
Yeah, he's going to be out in about like 2 or 3 weeks out from now. He's a little busy next week, but
Yep. Oh, true. I do remember when you said there were free bundles for light. Yeah, I do remember that, but I don't think you got.
Yeah, I did remember that. That's still on the list, Moose. Don't worry. Yeah, it's still right back here on page. The back. It's in the back.
It's somewhere. Yeah. And Leo, so spot on. He goes with the tangents. You're gonna get to it eventually. That's fair.
You know, that is very, very true. It's kind of like a tornado whipping around, you know? Just because it hasn't hit that part of your barn yet doesn't mean it's not coming back to do it.
Hey, that's wisdom right there. And generally, I'm funny. Get it? I used to teach.
Generally, I'm funny. That's pretty.
Yeah, I taught middle school. It killed in middle school. Like when I would drop the generally funny, oh man, it would dominate those 8th graders. It was good, and
they knew what the generally was, though.
Oh yeah, we were learning. It was Civil War, learning about the U.S. and stuff. So yeah.
Okay, so they knew actual generally, not Dukes of Hazzard generally.
Correct. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. So yeah, we'd go over all that. That was my go-to. That I do miss that about teaching. Everything I said was gold. No matter what. Dude. I never had a dead joke. Everything I said slayed. And now I have to live in the real world and have to have actual substance behind the jokes. And I'm not the best at that. So that does stink a little bit.
Dude, I don't know how you could ever be funny as a teacher, though. Like, I'd be so terrified to say anything wrong.
That's why I left.
Dude. I don't know how you did it as long as you did, though. Coming up, I mean, like 2024 is just, it's twice as bad as 2023 was. So you definitely got out in time.
No. So I always had, number one, I was everybody's favorite teacher. They always wanted to have me. So they didn't want to mess it up too much, which was nice. I always established the relationship with the kids and the parents. And I was the teacher. I was the coach. I'm the dad that has to razz you. Like if you say something that's worthy of being razzed, I'm not going to say make fun of you. I'm not going to say bully you, but I'm going to razz you. I'm going to throw that back at you as I would want someone to do to me, you know? Like if you guys watch the Wednesday streams, Sam does the whole time. So I would do stuff. There would be times I'd go home and I'm like, well, I'm okay there. Like I know the kid's good. I know the kid, him and I are great, mutual respect. But I could see someone twisting that. I could see a parent, you know, taking that, like spinning it and stuff. So once I
would not be good, dude. It's like borderline dangerous for me to have employees. Like I am a walking, talking HR violation. So like the fact that they let me around other people that are contractually obligated to deal with me in one way or another is just still mind blowing to me. And like letting me around just like a room full of people who could possibly be offended by me, like I'm gonna be in trouble. Like it's, you know, I don't know. It's just one of those. But the worst part is it would never be anything that I was trying to do to be funny or offensive or edgy. Like it would literally I would just say something stupid, like an opinion of mine that happens to be terribly offensive.
Like I like your haircut. No idea.
Yeah,
that's what tips you over the edge, and that's funny. We actually had a full discussion about sarcasm on the stream last night because it's just kind of going back and forth. And sarcasm is an art. I mean, it really is. Like number one, you need to deliver the sarcasm in a way which people can receive it as sarcasm. Because if they don't, you're not doing your job. You're not trying to get rudeness over their head. You know, like you got to deliver it, and then you have the mediums. How do you deliver sarcasm online without emojis or context clues? And then what about the level of your relationship, right? The sarcasm I can deliver to you is way different than many people in the chat that I don't know personally, you know? And so there's like there's layers to sarcasm.
You know, there really is, man. It's like it's one of those things where you actually do have to have like a pretty good sense. Like you have to have a pulse on the conversation and like the
Yeah.
tone that you're talking to somebody because, and that's why text messages like sarcasm can go really sideways in text messages.
Yeah, and I would say on text, I have a career and a life that lends me to being on a lot. And so I've really, and many would probably say that I'm over the top. I like to use my punctuation. I like to use emojis. I like to use LOLs for that reason. I don't want anything taken the wrong way. I want to make it sound like if you're going to turn something on me, which people do obviously, and spin something I say, I want to make it look real outrageous. Like you're going to feel real silly. And so I'm like over the top on text speak. And then like generationally, it's so funny. My favorite, this is like the cool kids. It's opposite day. I hate it. Is usually people from an older age when they text, they use the what is it? An ellipsis, right? 3 periods after the end of a sentence. You and I, if we use an ellipsis, it is signaling something not great, whether it's sarcasm, whether it is annoyance, whether it's like, yeah, he didn't even respond, ... Like you just, it's like dramatic.
Or like if I sent you a text that said, so ... My typical response from you would be, uh-oh.
Yeah, right. Exactly. But I do know people that are older that use that as just a part of their communication through text. You know, it's not like intentional by them or anything like that. It's just how they communicate. And so it's like, it can be so difficult.
I think I use it to be an ass more than I don't, to be honest. Like I really do.
Yeah.
My dad uses ...
Uh-huh. Yep, that's exactly what I'm talking
You know, it's
about
interesting
there.
that you chose to put those dots like that inside of parentheses and not in quotes.
Right.
You did there.
Yep. And Jeffrey says, when my wife uses that, I know she's not happy. And that's a good use of it. You guys are on the same page there.
Or it's like if like you say something to somebody and all you get back is the 3 dots, that means I have nothing to say to you. Like that, I'm not even replying to that.
Like
I'm
what?
not even doing it.
No. Yeah. What? Come on. And Leo says, you nailed the generational breakdown. Yeah. And like I said, I know they're not trying to be rude. I know that it's not a rude thing, right? There's no like grammatical like blueprint that says use this to show that you're annoyed. I don't think. It's just what has come through the generation. It's so interesting. I just love it. I love it all.
It's so funny.
Amber says, I'm no dummy. Interesting. So Shane says he's 50, and for us, it's like more thoughts coming. Interesting.
Well, and so I can see that the more thoughts coming thing because I do use it as that.
Right.
But what's interesting is like I assume the person I'm talking to knows that's what I mean, but maybe they think I'm being a smartass and I'm actually like not doing that. I don't know because maybe I'm like half in, half out.
Interesting. And here's another interesting one. And welcome everybody. We're just on the community check-in, talking to you guys, see what you want to talk about. And so far we're talking about texting grammar. And G Squared said, me and my wife have decided texting each other can lead to some of our worst communications. Me and her are 100 or 1,000 times better in person. Meanwhile, I have people who I'm much better over text. Sam, if it's something serious, she has to text. Even me, I know everything about her. Every single conversation is so open. But if it's anything that is at all attached to emotion, she has to text. She didn't grow up talking to her parents and communicating in that kind of way. So she, like the other day, she was talking to me about something, wasn't even with me. And she was like crying about it. And she wouldn't mind me saying this, we talked about the other day. She goes, I don't even know why I'm crying. I'm not even trying. But like anything that like charges her, it just kind of goes there. And so for her, the best conversations happen through texting because she can think about her thoughts. She can calm herself down and stuff. So interesting how different everybody is.
You know what's funny is, and Jill, she's listening probably on her way back to the office right now, but this is kind of funny. Her and I actually communicate really well over text message, usually. We actually aren't great with each other over the phone. It's weird. Like we're either really good face to face or we're pretty effective over text. But for some reason, over the phone, probably because she drives a Jeep Wrangler and the Bluetooth in her Jeep just sucks and it sounds like walkie-talkie all the time. So I literally can't hear inflection. So like I'll think she's being harsh when she's like literally just trying to say something, looking up, trying to speak into like the echoey leaky inside of her Jeep Wrangler, because that's what they are all like, is leaky and loud and echoey.
Yeah,
Worst cars in the world. Fight me.
I could see that. I could definitely see that. All right. And I'm trying here. Let me just go ahead and show this. So we're wondering, because I am curious how this came to be. I would assume the older generation actually has a better use of the term, right? Or more accurate. And so a regular oval shape traced by a point moving in a plane. So the sum of
You're talking, this is a circle we're talking about here. This is not the 3 periods.
But they got it there. What?
Oh, ellipsis versus ellipses? Yeah,
Oh
that's
my
2 different spellings. Ellipsis
goodness
would be
gracious.
in a circular curve of a line, like in the corner of that picture. That's an ellipsis.
So they're saying it omits part of your writing.
It does.
Okay. So how did it jump to our generation where it's used as attitude and sass?
I don't know. You know what it is? It's almost like it's like if you actually have more to say, it signals that you're not done typing and there's more there. Just like when you have a file name in your browser on your computer and you make your window not long enough, and then it shortens the name of the file and it has dots at the end to show you that, well, there's more of a name here. Like, that's clearly what it means.
So what I think I figured it out. What I think it is, when we communicate, right? If we're talking about something, and let's say you and I went to dinner yesterday and we were talking today and the dinner experience wasn't a great one. If I was like, Nick, how about them tacos? And then what I would do is I would look at you and make a face, and you would make a face back to me, right? We'd be like, and we don't even have to speak. That is text that is omitted. And so in the texting form, that's like the signal of like rolling your eyes, or like,
right.
I think there's
like,
something to that.
I have something shitty to say, but I'm not going to say it.
Yeah. I don't need to say it, but you're picking up what I'm putting down. If I'm like, hey, how about that delayed order? Yeah, okay. I think there's
now, interestingly enough, though, like if I have more to say and it's not going to be something snarky, I'll usually just do comma, etc. dot.
Yeah,
like I'd be like, oh man, that buffet had, steak, it had chicken, it had good like this, it had that, had awesome salad bar, etc. I wouldn't put like ... there.
Yeah. Donald said the all caps in Dynamite says the all caps drives me crazy, and text me cap or bra. So Jax, who's only 6, but he's like the cool kid, everyone loves him. He walks around, struts, he's quiet. He started that within the last like 2 weeks. Like we were pulling Pokemon cards and he pulled a good one. And he literally goes, and Jax is like the sweetest kid in the world. He goes, nah, bro. And I'm like, who are you? It was
Jack
cute.
Started doing that recently too. And like he'll do it in like this deep voice too. When he does it, he's like, bruh. Bruh.
Yep.
He's like so cool he can't even talk anymore.
And here's JGJ says an ellipsis at the end of an answer that involves an emotion usually means you are not strongly that emotion. It's all right. But is there something grammatical to that, or did we just kind of adopt it as that?
So he's nailing it there, though. Because I'll do that
so well
too.
said.
I'll totally do that. Like it literally be like, "How you doing? I'm okay." ... It's like, and that's like a not really.
Yeah.
But I think it's literally signifying I'm saying something that's unsaid, and it's totally in context. So like, I'm okay. Actually, no, I'm not. Today sucks. Like I had a really, you know what I mean? Like that would be that.
Right. Or, hey, can you go take the garbage out? I guess I'm dropping a ... on that.
Sure. Yeah. Sure. ... Not like I had anything else to do, but I'll stop what I'm doing so you don't have to go do it.
Right.
Sure.
Like I'm not full mad. It's not anger. It's an annoyance.
Right.
Interesting.
I'm irritated enough to not give you the pleasure of the rest of my thought.
Yeah. That's super interesting. And yeah, Leo says you're not allowed to graduate high school till you flunk English. I just like thinking about how we adopt these things and how so many of us in here know that use, but I don't think any of us ever stop to think about the why.
Oh, okay. I got a good one for you. We're talking about words, and someone just said graduate high school, and I have to get this demon out of my head and just share it with the rest of the world here.
Okay.
So I had some just administrative crap to take care of last week at the courthouse down in Plymouth. And so I was at the big courthouse down there waiting outside the clerk's office with my paperwork I have to file. just an old thing I had to go file some final paperwork for.
Yeah.
And anyway, so I'm sitting outside the room and I'm hearing the people that are like coming out of the room, you know, and I'm hearing these two older guys, like 50s, 60s, you know, they're little, you know, 10 years older than me or so probably. And so they're out front talking and they're hilarious. Like they're clearly both in the waste management business. Like one of them owns like a transfer station, like a junkyard, and another one owns like a landfill, and they're, you know, talking is pretty funny. Think about a couple of sanitation guys from Massachusetts, right? They're
Right.
not much of a filter between these two.
Right.
And so I'm thinking that they're here like waiting for some paperwork too. They weren't. Apparently they were waiting for their respective kids that were in the room. One of the guys had a daughter, and the other guy had a son.
Okay.
Daughter and the son were in a relationship. They had a kid together. They're no longer in a relationship, hence why they were in court to try to solidify their plans of handling their parenting situation.
Yep.
The kid, from what I gathered, was 29. The girl was a little younger. And so they walk out of the room and they both walk up to their respective parent, and they seem amicable. You know, they're talking.
Okay.
And the parent goes, "How did it go?" And he goes, "Well, aside from her making fun of me the whole time we were in there, it went pretty well." And he's like, just kidding. And he's like, "What are you making fun of him for?" And she's like, "He still doesn't know how to spell his middle name."
Oh.
And the kid's like, "Well, it's not like I forgot how to spell it. I never knew how to spell it." And she's like, "Come on, Nathaniel's not exactly that much of a challenge. Like, you're 29 years old." And the dad starts kind of like joking with him about it. And I'm thinking to myself, like, okay, so like this is like a real thing. And like,
right.
the best defense was, I didn't forget how to spell my middle name. I'm not stupid. I never knew how to spell it.
Wow.
So why are you making fun of me?
That was the rationale.
That was literally the rationale. Like he, at 29 years old, thought it was perfectly acceptable to not know how to spell part of his own name.
No, and
he has a kid, and he's in court talking about transportation and like this parenting plan and stuff. And I'm like, there's like a child who depends on you, like as a dad, and you don't know how to spell your own name. Like literally, it's not even like an insult.
Like, and this wasn't Judge Judy or some stage thing.
Nope. This was real life. I know for a fact I was awake, and I was not on the set of any terrible satiristic show.
Wow.
Yeah. What? Like people I had a real hard time. Like I'm sitting 5 feet away from this. Like part of me was literally going to be like, "Bro, do you really not know how to spell your own name?" Like on the way out, be like, "Hey man, I just wanted to check. Like, were you messing with them earlier? Like, you know how to spell Nathaniel, right? Like,
dude, that's wild.
You got that, don't you?"
Jason, he said when they asked him how old he was, did he hold up fingers or did he answer in months?
Yeah. Did he answer in months? He had to unvelcro his shoes to use toes to help count it out.
That's wild.
Notice I said unvelcro his shoes.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Okay. Couple of things on this topic here because you guys are amazing. Down says, educate me. I've been told texting K, okay, and okay have different meanings. Definitely. K, you're abrupt, it's short, you're over it, like K, and there can be some fluidity to K. Okay is usually not a positive tone. Just the letters O and K. If I were to ask Nick to do something and be like, "Hey Nick, you forgot to send me that picture over. Can you send me that?" and he just put okay, there's a little bit left to be desired there. You know, you're not showing me that. And then the okay fully spelled out, that one, that is showing me that you care, that you're acknowledging it. There's no negatives to that. And so definitely different.
So this is where we do have some, I think, regional or otherwise difference.
Interesting. Hit me.
I have never typed the full word OKAY unless autocorrect types it for me or I'm voice texting one time ever in my entire life on purpose ever. Literally never.
Interesting.
And so like if I say okay, now God, how many people have I thought made think I was offended now? See, this is good. I'm learning things.
But
so like,
I would think you would do more than just type the letter O and K. I feel like
so like I type O and K in the middle of a sentence.
Yeah.
If I'm replying to something, I don't think I've sent very many texts that are like okay. Like
right.
I would either do like an on it or a sounds
Yes.
good, or no problem, or a thumbs up.
Dude, and that's so interesting. And I'm gonna hit that thumbs up in a second here.
Oh, because that can be snarky too.
Yes, it's what I'm gonna get to, but it can be good too, you know. And
Mhm.
context is important, you guys. Context means everything, of course.
Context, surface area, two
Yep.
most important things in life.
But when people say like you can't communicate clearly in text, there's definitely challenges. But what you talked about right there, if I was like, hey Nick, can you send me that picture you forgot to send over? If you wrote me back, okay, I'm gonna think that you're annoyed. If you write me back, no
and
problem.
if I said that in that tense, in that context, I might that actually might be true.
Right. But if you wrote no problem or on it's like super positive. Like, bam, on it. Got it, dude. Like, so you get to say the same thing, and it's just thinking about how it goes. But it is interesting that it's got to be a two-way street where how many people say things that doesn't cross their mind in a negative way, and then someone interprets it regionally. Interesting.
Oh,
yeah,
Like
interesting.
when I'm
And then
talking back and forth with like my guys I work with out in India, like they'll do certain shorthand things that come off really harsh and they're not. But and I know that. But like if one of my like buddies here in Marshfield said it to me, I'd be like, all right, what'd I do? Why are you pissed at me?
Right. Yeah. And then Amber said she hates the thumbs up. And I was thinking about it. I'm torn on that one because I definitely can throw a thumbs up as something that's like annoyed or negative or just like a conclusion. It will only be when it's like in a not a heated conversation, but in a conversation that's not positive. If we're going back and forth and we're just not going to agree on it, I'll put a little bookend by just throwing a thumbs up, like, you got it, man. And like, just, I'm not mad, but whatever, thumbs up. But there are other times where it's like, hey, Nick, can you send me that picture? And then you're like, just sent it over. If I do a thumbs up back, I'm not annoyed in that situation.
Right. If you use it as a response, I think that can be kind of crappy, or meaning that you're annoyed or you're trying to stop the conversation. But if someone else says something that's in response to you, and then you add to that response with a thumbs up, I think that's like you saying that you like or approve or support what that person just said.
Yeah. Phil, you missed. We had like a 20-minute discussion on the ellipsis. You must have just came in. Yeah, we did that fully. And Jill says, she says, I spell out okay mostly because it's more pleasing to the eye. I agree. It is definitely more pleasing and like conclusive.
Oh God, but the capital okay, like the capital O and K, like at the end there, that's even a different one. I think that's like okay.
Like
yeah.
interesting.
Now it's actually with the new iMessage and the new, rich texting, stuff with Android. Now you can put the reaction of thumbs up. Do you think sending a thumbs up emoji is different than thumbs upping reacting to someone's statement in a comment? I think
so. I've learned there's reacting people and not reacting people. Like to this day, most people are using emojis, right? That's pretty commonplace. It used to be, I mean, to be honest, it used to be a little bit creepy like 10 years ago when guys would do it. Like if a guy sent me a smiley face, I'm like, no thanks. Like, I don't know what's going on.
It's like, don't you wink at me.
Yeah,
but now it's like, oh, okay, you're being sarcastic.
Right. So with the thumbs up, it definitely depends on the person. There's so much to all these. And yeah, man, I think it's changing and evolving. And here's a great one from Leo, right on topic. Thumbs up, right? Check the emojis. Where's a definitive source for text etiquette, or you just write everything out until you can mimic the other person? Interesting. Like these are all learned behaviors, right? Just through observations and experiences.
For sure. It's, they are. It'd be funny to see the Merriam-Webster's of emojis. Yeah. Like where's the emoji like,
well, imagine being someone from an experienced age, and there's stuff that the kids use as emoji, right? For example, I mean, there's a lot. We're not going there. But for example,
like, wow.
Yeah, no.
If you want me to talk about reviewing my kids' checks history over the past few weeks, we might have to change the rating on this show.
Here's a rule for the older generation out there. Never trust a food emoji.
Nope.
Just stay away from food emojis. I don't care if it's a peach. I don't care if it's a what else? Squash? Is that one? Yeah. I don't care. Eggplant. None of those things. Don't trust them. Don't trust them.
Nope. Don't. You just can't.
No.
You can't, and if you try to and if you say that what I think gets the older generation in trouble now too is on the iPhone or even on Androids. If as you're typing, it'll highlight words that you can replace with emojis.
Yes.
Now imagine it replaces the shower with, some squirting water. And then you say you're going to go out and do some stuff in the garden. It replaces that with a zucchini. And then next thing you know, you just got really inappropriate with your niece, and you didn't even mean to. You were just talking about chorin.
Big time. Big time. Or for example, there's like the stock market yellow tick that's going up. That's the U of M uses that as their symbol as like a yellow M. And it's like, okay, would have never known that. Or like the face with the smoke coming out of the nose. You'd think that's like angry. For like the younger generation, that's like if I post that, it's like I'm working hard today. Let's go. Bringing it. Like I'm not angry. I'm pumped
you're
up.
like that's
that dude. Yeah, I'm a bull. I'm tough. Let's go. It's so interesting. Oh,
so
and if you guys see a leaf emoji, it probably doesn't have to do with the fall leaves or those green leaves. That's different too.
Oh yeah, very different. I love the ones getting thrown out here, between corn, hot dogs, and eggplants. I love the fact that we all have just about the same 6th through 8th grade sense of humor.
Yep. And Leo says, why do YouTubers say for those who don't know, or if you don't know, no way to Doug if you do know, go directly. It's just a figure of speech, Leo. I think it's trying to deliver a message in a polite way rather than I don't take that in any kind of bad way. That's just
I don't either. I actually take that as pretty inclusive when people do that. I agree. Because what you're doing there is you're not saying no one that's watching could possibly know this, so let me educate you since I'm smarter than you.
Yep.
You're saying you're giving people the chance to say, hey, maybe you know this, maybe you don't. I might be teaching you something here, maybe I'm not. In case you don't know,
Yep. And
I think that's trying to not assume that people are ignorant on your topic.
Yep. And back to the ellipsis, it signifies that there's more to be said, but you're holding back. That's a very well worded way to say it.
Banana Goat has a habit of taking what we ramble about and literally summing it up with a final comment. If we go back historically speaking, I think there's been more times of him piping up and us being like, yeah, exactly right. Yep.
Yeah.
That.
Man. Tynamo says, should they teach a text etiquette at school and teach email etiquette in business classes? I would love, I've even pitched this to school before where I want to have a class that's like that, where it's real. And I would teach this one because I could tell all the parents to just skip. You don't even get to talk to me. I would love to teach where it's real world stuff and just go about my life and just write down things write down beard product video ideas and beard info ideas. I should teach them about how you calculate a tip and that this is rude or considered rude. This is considered above and beyond, if they don't know those things, and text etiquette and etiquette at the grocery store. And how do you discuss politics, but stay calm? Those real world things. Yeah. I would love to teach a class like that. Absolutely love it.
That would be huge, dude. And people need it. I just saw someone reposted this meme I saw a while back, and it was they're the time between January and April where school told me nothing about what I'm supposed to be doing financially, but man, I can't wait for parallelogram season later this year.
Oh yeah.
And it's it's so true, man. I look at what is on the curriculum for getting a 4.0 grade average in school right now in high school. And there is 5% of it that applies to real everyday life and being a successful human.
Yeah.
Not much of it.
And here's right. I know it's so true. But the concept of getting through the hoops and blah, blah, blah. But Leo, yes, he goes, does yes and all right have clear meanings? And I'm going to add one in to you, Leo. Drop the L and put the words together. I've never typed all and separate right. I do AL and then RIGHT. I've never even had it separated. And there is an answer, Leo. And I'm so glad that the internet has us here, because this is such a good answer, because Leo is definitely polished with his language, right? He understands language very well. And here's the difference. And so if we're talking about all right versus all right, which I was just talking about there, is one word spelling the all right, two different ones that you have there is only acceptable in edited form. Meaning, if you were to text me, Leo, and you were to put that out there and you were to say, if I were to ask you a question, you'd put all right, I would say, that's Leo. That he's a wordsmith. He's very good with his language. If Nick were to write that, I'd say, what the heck, Nick? Why are you talking so fancy to me? You know, it's like it's a much more like fancy dialogue. So yeah,
it's like an Idiocracy when he comes back and he's speaking like normal English, like 2000s English in the future, and they're like, little did not sure know that his normal English came off incredibly rude and sarcastic, courtroom, and condescending.
Yeah. And I love thinking about this with language too, when one letter can change everything in a sentence, right? All right versus alt right, which sound very similar. And there's so many examples of that where it's like, oh yeah, sorry. That text typo changed the entire message. I'm so sorry.
I love when that happens and you don't realize it. And then the person replies back to you and like lets you know what you said.
Yeah. Or they're like, huh? And then you read it.
Or like they give you back the eyes.
Yeah. Yep. Oh my God.
That's my favorite, when someone just sends you back the eyeballs looking over, and then you're like,
my go-to.
What? You're like, what? And then like you read it again, you're like, oh crap. Oh, oops.
Nick, this text wasn't to me.
Yeah, crap. Whoops. Never mind. It's Tuesday.
Well, Dancy Bearded, shut the heck up and leave me alone. Like, I would send you eyes back to that. Like, I would send eyes back to that one.
Whoops.
Oh man, this was productive. This was therapeutic. And
this is good.
Oh, so good. But I do got to pause here. We'll come back into some other community check-in tangents on this one. But Nick, shipping, Dr. Nick's changes are happening today, and a lot of positive angles and just new angles. What's going on with Dr. Nick's and shipping?
Yeah, so it's really good. I think everything's worked out. And so you guys are going to have to be patient with me. It's one of those tough things to do too. You know, in my world as a technologist, and like you see, you know, Jason out here, people that deal with websites, networks, things that need to be up all the time, it's always tough to figure out when to make your changes, right? And typically with like a lot of things that you do, I would do my changes on the weekend, I do them at night, but our busiest times are at night and on the weekend on our website. And for understandably why.
Right.
And so I'm basically swapping out the flat rate shipping to the calculated, you know, carrier-based selectable shipping rates. And I have USPS and UPS integrated. Everything seems to be working. It's auto-selecting the right boxes for bundles of orders and different sizes of things. And the more I go through it, people are going to be pretty happy because there's a new rate that we've never used. It's supposed to be more reliable than first class, about the same as priority without so much detailed tracking, but it's called Ground Advantage through USPS, just through the post office. And I look through our orders right now in the queue, and everyone that paid $5 flat rate shipping, they, with this new system, would have paid $4.60.
Oh, nice.
$4.80. There's one for $4.50, and then there's one for $6. There's one for $5.70. So it's kind of interesting in the sense that the cheap, and what it's going to do now is when you check out, it's going to show you cheapest, best value, and fastest. It's going to give you 3 options for shipping. So it'll be across, it might all be across USPS. It might be one USPS option, one UPS option, you know. So you'll be able to pick next day if you want it. You'll be able to pick, you know, Ground Advantage from USPS if you're cool with waiting 4 or 5 days. And then you'll be able to pick some option in between that'll probably be USPS Priority or UPS Ground. That'll be like good tracking, and it'll be within 2 to 4 days delivery. The good news though is that like the lower cheapest option with our new contract actually looks to be a little less than our typical flat rate of $5. And as the orders get bigger, you know, you just got to understand that if your order gets up to $10 in shipping, because it's heavy and it's big, you know, it's the nature of the beast. It's the, you know, shipping is expensive. And what we were kind of doing was back in 2021, 2022, shipping rates have gone up a lot since then. And we don't want to change our flat rate shipping to be a more expensive flat rate, right? Because that's not fair to everybody,
Right.
because some of the rates are going to come in. We don't want to profit off shipping.
Right.
And so what we decided as a business is that we don't want to make money on shipping, but we also don't want to lose money on shipping. And we can't control what they charge. And because of that, it's just not something that we can build into our numbers and project accurately, which isn't good. So basically, we think it's going to actually benefit 90% of orders. You're going to have an option that's less expensive than our flat rate. And it's going to be, I think, a better level of service than our flat rate has been, because we've been depending on first class, which has shown to not be great all the time.
And I know there's a lot of people in their areas where they don't like their USPS and they need UPS, and that's huge. You know, that.
And if I'm one of those people and I'm ordering, and I'm ordering, 40 something bucks worth of product or something like that, and I know I want it, I'm willing to pay an extra $4 for UPS typically. I'm not again, I know it's not like the business is making money because I'm picking UPS. It's just I'm paying UPS for what I want. And I do that all the damn time. So
yeah. Now,
in international shipping. Yeah.
Is it coming back?
Yes, it is. And so when I launch it today, I'm starting with domestic. And then probably I'd say tomorrow or Thursday, once I make sure we don't have any kinks. If I make it live today, we're going to do our first shipping run tomorrow on Wednesday with the new system. Once everything goes smoothly, as I hope it will, and I don't have Shelly and Jill coming up with burning pitchforks at my office door up here. Assuming that doesn't happen, I'm going to probably activate the international shipping rates on Thursday, and that way we can test it out, hit another shipping day on Friday, and make sure everything's good.
Keep me posted so I can get that word out, because there's a lot waiting on that one.
You know what's interesting is, like, what's actually made the international piece more difficult is almost all of our products obviously are classified in their HS codes for international shipping as liquids. And the automated API shipping systems for DHL, everybody, does not support shipping of liquids. But if you do it direct with DHL or direct with those guys, they do allow you to ship liquids internationally. It just depends on what kind. But since there's no way to declare the type inside the automated system, I think they just kick it out. So I'm working with them today to try to figure out a way around that, because I know the types of liquids we're shipping are perfectly acceptable with the carriers and their policies. So I'm just trying to work that kink out. It's literally, I think, a technical issue at this point that I just need to change a little code somewhere, and those rates should just open right up.
Awesome. That's super exciting, guys. So stay tuned on that one. Jillian says Terry Crews is the man. He grew up just down the road from me. He's from my area, which is crazy. So that's awesome. Okay, cool. So stay tuned for that. And then Nick, you're wearing something right now. I don't know if you want to highlight that real quick, because I got a little comment here from Dan B, and he says, anyone on the fence with getting the new hoodie, get off that fence, go for it. So comfortable and great quality.
It is. It's very comfortable. I'm wearing it now. And I can even, if you want, I can even, show how a large fits. You guys know how stuff fits me. So the large, it's a thicker hoodie, right? You can tell by the hood. You see how it sits, right? I mean, you can tell it's like, think of like a Carhartt hoodie, something like that quality, or like a really thick Champion, right?
Really thick.
Yeah. I mean, it's thick. Like I'm confident that I could go out in a drizzle outside in this, and I'm not going to feel the water on the inside of the hoodie. I think it's going to it's like going to be on the surface of the fabric, but it's not going to go through unless it's like pouring.
Yeah. It's got the poof test, right? Where if you can like have it in your hand and you throw it up, it's not like the Gildan where it's got just like the fluff, and it gives you like a little bit of like bounce back.
It's got some loft.
Yeah.
Like I almost feel like before you wash this thing, it could almost like stand up on its own a little bit on the floor if you opened it up just right.
Right.
True to size. That was where I was going with this, Lazy Beard, is being as it's thicker, it does fit a little larger. So it's not like, so I normally wear a large. And so that's what I grabbed out of the box was a large. And I'll show you how the large fits. Let me just stand up back over here. Move the mic.
Okay.
So, I mean, it's got a little room to it, but it's not like.
Yep. I like those shoes too.
Oh, you saw those gooses?
I did.
You saw those golden gooses?
I saw them boys. They look nice. They look
Oh,
Canadian.
them gooses is comfy. They are terry cloth on the inside, I might add.
Gosh, get to sweating in them things. Funhouse, I think it's got 2 C's. I think it's a full thicker than a Snicker.
Oh, yeah. If I was going to say it, it's thick.
Yeah.
Like, it's
thick.
thick.
And Jill said, oh, she thick. We didn't say that, but Jill did. Just for the record there.
This girl thick.
Right. We like our jobs, principal. Leave us alone. All right. And thank you for wearing pants today.
You're welcome. Last minute addition, but it really paid off today.
I love that. All right. Back to the tangents and the beard champion. That is true. That is a beard champion. And so those hoodies are available, ready to go. They're linked in the chat right now. And Bill Dawson has a good question. Way back at the start, Bill, I'd start it, and I appreciate this. He says, is there anything worse than a bad beard trim?
I can't imagine what would be.
I've had one, and I'll share mine. Nick, have you had any bad beard trim stories?
Yes, sir.
All right, I'll hit mine, and then you display yours of elegance. We were getting ready to go to dinner. This is probably 4 years ago. I had the channel at the time, but it was early on, maybe 5 years ago. It was pretty early. And I made the mistake of trimming my beard within a time constraint. Never trim your beard when you have a time constraint.
No, sir.
So I was rushing a little bit. And I did a line that I didn't. This was early on in trimming my beard. I did a line that I didn't like.
Where?
And the bottom of my beard. So instead of
like
going, so instead of going like doing my nice little shape, one went and went up. And I had an immediate gut shot. I'm not kidding you. I thought I was going to barf. And that's not even like a figure of speech. I thought I was physically going to throw up. I started profusely sweating to the point where I got down to my boxers. I was that worked up, that agitated. Sam comes in. I take pride. I never lash. I never have anger. I never, none of that. I'm right here. And I just went, I need more time. And I was like panicking, and we were supposed to go to dinner. And I think we ended up calling it off. I was able to recover and calm myself down. If I can give another lesson, right? Don't trim from time constraints. Do not make any decisions or movements in those times of panic.
No.
Let yourself calm down.
Off the trimmer.
Clear your mind. Nothing is going to change if you walk away and then come back to it. That genuinely, and of course, family and health and all that stuff. All right, been through that. Outside of those extreme things, that's one of the worst feelings. Like that was, I gut shot, profusely sweating, panic, like boom, boom, boom. Not fun at all. Not fun at all.
It's literally the worst. And the only thing you can do is not fix it until it's broken worse. You know what I mean? Like you're right. Like if it
drives you crazy.
If you make a mistake and then in the mental space of having just made a mistake, try to fix it, you were always going to make it worse. And that's when, I swear to God, what percentages of people that you knew were growing out a beard, and then you saw them without a beard and you're like, whoa, what happened? And they're like, nah, I did a trim, didn't like it, shaved it off. Like how many times have we heard that? Like I've heard that so many times.
Yeah. It's literally true.
You know what mine was? It's painful. It was really early on. Like we're talking, I don't know, 3 years in, like 2014, like 10 years ago. You know, I did a bad neck trim up.
Oh.
So like, you know, I keep it pretty, I don't trim much down there anymore. You know, I let it because I want the underbeard, you know. No, I know, but I didn't. And I did one of these where I was like, oh, let's just see where the line is. And I went like up like that. And I actually went up under the chin. So I got rid of like a whole section of the under the chin beard. I thought I was going up to the neckline and I was just following it. And then I let my hand go. And it turned out I went like over and like up into the beard. And I was like, oh no. And so
When was that?
Had a horrible regrowth time there.
How long ago was that?
10 years.
Oh, okay. So that was, in that you rocked a substantial beard, but it was kind of more like in this range, right?
Oh yeah. It was like this.
Right. People would describe you as bearded, but not bearded.
Right. Yeah. People would be like, your beard looks good. I don't get the damn, that's a beard. Like I get now, you know?
Yep, absolutely. And Banana Goat says, been there too many times. Dan's methodology of only trimming off the bottom and only trimming flyaways that are a problem for more than a day or two. Yeah, never change something that's just that day. It needs to be continuous. Has made everything so simple. And that's my trims today are so simple. There's not a worry in the world. I knock on wood, but it's like really hard to mess up, at least to the point where you couldn't adjust it and anybody would ever notice. And it really is, which that mindset has helped me be calm and have better trims.
And I think even if you are in a spot where you wanted to take off like an inch or two, right? I would never say go all in at once. And I'm sure you covered this. But in my mind, it's like if you want to take off 2 inches, you're doing that at least an inch at a time, if not a half inch at a time over 4 trims.
Right. Why not?
Why not? Right. You can always trim a little more.
Yeah.
They just don't have scissors that put hair back yet. You know?
Our guy Because says, I took an edible and decided to trim when it was about 2 inches, accidentally cut a small crater in the bottom of my beard. So I could see that going both ways, right? Edible, like somebody like dialing, focusing in, hitting like every hair, but then I could see that happening too. Because I would like to be a fly on the wall for that situation. That
is a double-edged sword.
Yeah.
It really is. Like, you're right. That could either turn you into like the Picasso of beard trims.
Right.
Or like you could pull a Picasso and cut off your ear.
Yeah, it would turn into abstract art too.
He's the one that cut off his ear, right? Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, Mike Tyson?
No, the artist, Picasso. He's the one that cut off his ear, right?
I know history, but not art history.
I'm pretty sure I'm right on that one. I was making sure I didn't sound stupid, but now I sound even stupider asking, so that's fine.
Oh no, you're being honest there. Yeah, being honest.
That's me.
Small and slow when it comes to trimming. Yep. Spot on.
Right, Jake. Low and slow, just like cooking pork.
Jill said she won't even plug her own eyebrows.
Yeah, she won't. She has this woman down the street do it with a little pair of little thingies.
Oh, Van Gogh.
Oh, there we go. Yep, Van Gogh. Boom.
Okay.
Thanks, guys.
Okay. Yeah, I don't. I mean, I know Hansel. I know some art history, but I don't know most of it. That's a glaring weakness in my history knowledge.
Okay, so let's look at one more piece of English here. So Jill just said Van Gogh handsome. Okay, so handsome is Jill's pet name for me, right? So like she walks in the house, hi handsome.
Oh.
She comes downstairs, hey handsome. You know, it can have questions, it can have a statement, or it can be used as such. Van Gogh handsome.
Right. I would have taken it not as talking to you. I would have taken it as Van Gogh, the handsome one.
Right. Oh no. See, like, and that's the trick. I know what that means. So I know that it's Van Gogh handsome, not handsome or handsome, you know? So it's funny there, right? It's like
interesting
little pieces of words used in different context.
Interesting.
But thanks, baby. You got me on that one.
If that is what she was referring to.
if I was in fact the one.
Yeah. Right. And yeah, man, there's a art and skill to learning your trims. And Donald said, I noticed recently with all my trims, I'd lean my head back and trim underneath. Man, I was wrong. Learned a lesson. I did a video on that last week, I think it was.
Yeah, you can't do that.
You wouldn't believe the heck I caught for that. And people getting like that's a wild, interesting thing too. When you like give information like, hey guys, this is what I think you should do. This is what I do. Just some recommendations. And people get like mad. Like they get angry about stuff.
The comments back on you, they're like so irrelevant too. Yeah. They're like, it's not even like I don't like doing that. It's like, I don't like the way you look.
Yeah.
It's like, thanks.
It's just so interesting to think about someone's mindset in their day where that's where they go to, you know. And then you got Jill calling artists handsome and stuff. Different world, you know. Different world. And man, all the women. Yeah. Ellie says all the women got nicknames for their men. I can see that.
Yeah. Well, you have to.
Yeah, some of them you can't share. I can understand that. Yeah.
Well, yeah, and you know what? Hey, and I feel like it's one of those things where like I'm so used to her calling me by a nickname now that like when she calls me by my name, it's either she said the nickname 3 times from upstairs and I didn't hear her, so I get my real name down the stairs, or like I did something else that pissed her off, or it's like,
Right.
you know, oh, if it comes at the end of like an okay, Nick, like,
Is that not the whole like discussion we've had on words? Leo put it earlier. He was like, Leo, if you have that comment again, I would love to see it. I don't think I'll be able to track it down. But essentially, he said, like, hey, paying attention to language. Oh, right here. Got it. Oh, no, never mind. But paying attention to language is really important, right? It's up to you. And if you choose to ignore it, like that's your own, yeah, they're your own peril right here. Their levels in language. Ignore them at your peril. Casual, formal, and intimate. And understanding those differences is super interesting, right?
that's huge.
I'll have a business meeting, which is interesting, right? And I'll be very formal. And then I'll have a meeting with Nick, and it's like I can be more casual because that's how we communicate, and that's how we actually are more. I would argue it's a more effective way of communicating and delivering your real thought. And then, like you said, in the same breath, you would have a discussion with Jill in a different way than we would. You know, so interesting. So interesting. And like you said, just simply using your name is context clue.
Oh yeah. It's like, especially like full name versus like your actual nickname. Like someone calls me Nicholas, like I'm definitely in trouble with my mom. Like she's mad at me somewhere.
Right. And then some moms just say that like normal though, and it's not. Like, and then others, it's like, oh, do they drop the middle name? You know, if that dude gets Nathaniel dropped in a sentence, he's screwed. Like he's in trouble.
One, he's not winning Wheel of Fortune that day.
Mm-mm.
And also he's in trouble.
Yeah, big time. All right, question before we go here. Beard sanitizer left in my truck for 6 months, sometimes in the sun. I noticed the bottle has started to deform. Have you guys had any experience on this?
I mean, so the bottles are plastic. So I mean, just like any other thin plastic bottle, the black plastic, since it is highly recyclable and it is dyed, they are more prone to heat, deforming, I think. Like but I'd say that's a heat thing. I wouldn't say that's anything to do with like this what's in the bottle.
Right.
But I would say that the sanitizer is definitely no good, right? Hypochlorous acid only has about a 6-month shelf life anyway. That's why we do small bottles of it.
Right.
And I would also say hypochlorous acid is very sensitive to heat. It doesn't like getting hot. I'd say anything over 200 degrees for any extended exposure, that stuff could probably not be super happy.
Man, and right on topic, Kevin said his butter came gritty, which can happen from heat. And he said, just out of curiosity, he said it was fine, no worries. But out of curiosity, he did the microwave trick, and it worked perfectly.
Yeah, nailed it, man. That's it. You just got to re-emulsify it, because what happens is once in a while it'll get hot, just enough heat to melt one piece of it and not the rest, and then it won't homogenize again by itself until it is all liquefied and then brought to the same temperature at the same time.
Exactly. Yeah. Shea butter actually has 9 different long chain fatty acids that all have different cooling points or solidification points. And so if it melts in some of them, they'll cool by themselves, and then the others will cool by themselves. And that's what it creates. And that's perfect. And there is a video on this YouTube channel about how to do that. And if you guys want to learn more, and Jake, I think about this all the time. Right. Imagine learning something as a second language, not only trying to learn the formal stuff, just the stuff in the book, but then you got to use like everything we talked about today. Like we've been speaking English for our whole lives, and it's so complicated. And Jake says, try learning German and being formal and an informal way of saying something and it being rude. And like, nope.
Dude, that's my problem with some languages too. And they have like masculine and feminine versions of words, and then the formal and casual version of a word. So you got to think about formal or casual and male or female. Like there's like 4 combinations there. And imagine how much more complicated that is now in 2024, now trying to be socially aware speaking another language. I mean, like, come on.
Man. All right, guys. Thank you for making my day even better. Thank you for an amazing conversation, food for thought, just hanging out with friends. We didn't want today to be about anything too serious or products or this or that. Just wanted to hang out and chat with you guys. And next week we will have a guest interview on the stream. Hope that you guys will tune in. I promise you'll be entertained. It will be a lot of fun. It will be a lot of fun here. And then thank you guys. Nick, for your send off here, quick question from Dynamo, and then your takeaway, and then I'll get this bad boy wrapped up. Thoughts on using beard sanitizer on tattoos, either right after, during the healing process, or in general? Any thoughts to it?
Not a fan of that idea. And for a couple of reasons, I'll tell you why. Only because it is a bit of a toner, right? And if you think about a skin toner, what it does is it tightens the skin a little bit. That might not be good for the healing skin. Also, in my opinion, now there's things out there that don't seem to agree with me. I don't think anything you put on a tattoo should ever be scented in any way. I don't think it should have eucalyptus in it. I don't think it should have peppermint in it. All these creams and gels and other butters and stuff that are scented for tattoos. I don't want to put essential oil on open skin. I mean, it doesn't sound pleasant. And the times that I've accidentally come into contact with it, it hasn't been. But I would just say from the pure standpoint of, from a sanitization standpoint, yes, right? As it dries, it's going to sanitize, it's going to kill germs. That aspect is great. It's probably going to tighten up the skin, which might not be good for the healing process. And also it has essential oils in it, which I wouldn't want on an open tattoo. So put some butter on that bad boy though, and you'll be happy.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
Especially if it really hurts, hit some Bactine on there and then some butter. Oh, come on. That like saved my life with the back of my hand after I got tattooed. It was like, that was a godsend. Little Bactine, little lidocaine, little butter.
Chef's kiss. All right. Send them off, Nick.
Man, now knowing what we're doing next week, I'm extremely excited about next week. And it makes me think that I'm probably going to have to take a lot of photos tonight to probably document something that's happening on Taco Tuesday that's probably going to be hyper relevant for next week, you know? And so I'm going to be taking lots of notes, and it might not just be for next week. And we're going to talk all about that next week, I guess. So definitely stay tuned for next week. Don't sleep on this one. It's going to be a good one.
For real. All right, guys. Same time next week. We will see you there. Nick, final goodbye.
That's it. See you guys next week. Thanks for being here.
All right, guys. Have an awesome day. See you. New shipping.